Solo hay un plan. Voy a matarlos a todos.
I'm going to encourage listeners to watch the dub version, actually.
No!
There's only one plan. I'm gonna kill them all.
I am the most complete fighter in the world.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
You can call it the art of fighting without fighting.
Stick around. Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Dodge this.
Welcome to episode 9 of Dodge This, an action movie podcast. My name is Simon Fielder. I am a human comedian, a man based in Amsterdam, and I goddamn love action movies.
You know what? We've never done the Pulp Fiction line, and it's just occurred to me, my man in Amsterdam. Like, we're an action movie. Yeah. We're an action movie podcast. You're in Amsterdam, and it's never connected the dots. Actually,
do you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese over here?
Big burger.
Big burger. That's right. Yeah.
Ooh,
big burger.
Ooh, that is a big burger. That's the line, isn't it? Ooh, that is a very big burger.
Zed has passed away.
Hi, I'm Matthew Hyton. Hey.
Yes, there he is.
doing bootleg quotes from Pulp Fiction.
Matthew is live from London Tan, home to Mary Poppins and the world's home of chimney sweeps, of course.
Yeah, we still have them. If you're out of town, we still have them dancing on the roofs.
They're everywhere. And this is a podcast where we talk, hopefully lovingly, about action movies from all over the world. And, this time we've got an absolute cracker. I think it ticks all the boxes. It's from all over the world, brackets, Spain. And it is very much an action movie. And it is called XTREMO. Before we get into that, though, we like to catch up on what's been going on in the world, such as it is, outside of action movies. Matt, what you been looking at with your eyes and ears?
Well, as you know, Simon, I've been quite busy, but I did manage to, it's not something I watched, but I listened to one of the Aliens Audible books, which is a direct, I want to say, it's not a sequel or prequel, really. It's sort of a tangent to Aliens, which is, what's it? I can't even think what the title is.
Is it Aliens pornographic fan fiction?
Yeah, you know those stuff I've been writing and putting on Audible. Yeah, it's one of those. It is graphic. It's Alien River of Pain, and it's basically set during the colonization of LV-426, and it's Newt's family and what happens around the time they discover the ship, and it is great. Wow. As a big fan of Alien and Aliens, and a big soft spot for Alien 3, which is controversial. It's amazing. It's
That's
really,
some deep
really
cut
good.
Nerdery. I'm impressed and terrified at the exact same time.
Yeah. So if you're into the Aliens franchise, because there's loads of really good audibles, they have loads of them.
Okay.
Like there's a few versions of Alien 3, because Alien 3 famously had lots of different versions come out, and there's one which was trying to get off the ground for ages, which is following Hicks, Michael Bihn's character.
And it's just like a spin-off book.
No, it's not. It's a completely... Yeah, it is now. It's a graphic novel, but it's one of the original scripts that was one of the pitch for Alien 3. And then they went in and, didn't make it. They made Fincher's version. So they have loads of versions online, loads of different scripts. And that's one of the best ones. There's also a whole thing, not to go too down the alien hole, where they had a whole thing about...
Is that what happens in your fan fiction?
Yeah. That's the opening line. He was down that alien hole.
Oh, boy. Oh, here comes the face hugger.
Hey, famously, when Alien was made, one of the first questions they said is, how do you get the alien on the ship? And Ridley Scott said, they fuck its way on.
Someone's got to fuck it. Someone's got to fuck it. Classic.
I don't know
Ridley.
why I was made him American. But yeah, there's a whole one where there's a wooden planet was the original version of Alien.
Wooden planet?
And it was popular. It was populated by monks. And that's why there's loads of religion in Alien 3, because it's one of the hangovers from that version of the script.
I have not seen that movie for a very, very long time.
I like the Alien franchise.
Overlooked Fincher, innit? Overlooked Fincher. What else we been seeing? Oh, I'll tell you what I took a look at.
I was going to say, what have you seen?
We talked about the trailer last time. Watched Spirit Walker.
How was it?
It was the Quantum Leap with knife fights that we watched the trailer for last time. Enjoyed it. Not, I would say, obviously I was looking at it with one eye on, could we talk about it for the podcast? Wouldn't technically have it as an action movie. It's a sort of sci-fi thriller mystery with a bit of action in it.
You'll do anything to not brand a sci-fi as an action film.
Anything that's sci-fi is immediately disqualified in my eyes.
There's a new one, isn't there? I was going to watch the new Ryan Reynolds one. I was going to say, do you want to watch this for the podcast? What is it, The Adam Project? And I
knew I'd veto it immediately.
Yeah, I was like, there was no point, because you'll go, it's even though it's packed with sci-fi, it's not an action film. It's because of the sci-fi, because not of the action.
That's right. I have to. Somebody has to be here to temper your talking about your Alien fan fiction by just bringing it back down.
I can't help if the government are preparing us for an alien invasion through 50 years of popular culture, mate. Okay.
Oh,
also,
boy.
it's not aliens; it's time travel.
But Spirit Walker is it's from South Korea. It's very production-wise, very well made. Like, I liked it. It's good special effects. I like the story a lot. If you didn't listen to the last one or haven't seen the trailer, it's about a guy who every 12 hours shifts into another body. So there is the kind of overriding mystery of why is this happening? And the payoff for that was very unsatisfying for me. Couple of nice bits of action. Yeah, I quite liked it. Anyway, if you want to watch it, it comes out at the end of March in the UK. And if you're in the United States or States, or if you're in the United States.
That's your dystopian vampire fan fiction, is it? We're in the United States now, baby.
It's the post-alien takeover government-run world. It's on Hi-R, which, as you know, is a streaming service I'm quite a big fan of. If you've got a VPN, you can enjoy it for $2.99 a month. Otherwise, rent it. I also watched In the Heights, not action related at all. The Lin-Manuel Miranda penned musical set in Washington Heights in New York, sort of coming of age tale. Really liked it.
Oh,
I bloody love a musical. I don't mind saying it.
Since we spoke, I watched West Side Story.
Did you? I haven't watched it yet.
It's beautiful.
Spielberg.
The social commentary is it's so of its time, and it felt really like, yeah, it's really interesting to watch.
Oh, really? Still, some of it is a bit like, this is not appropriate anymore.
No, but I mean, it's good because it's what's happening in it is not appropriate. But I mean, to give that they've done a reboot and made sure it is all that post-war stuff and all that immigration stuff that's come through New York.
It's basically the Romeo and Juliet, right?
It is Romeo and Juliet.
The base story.
Interestingly, my wife, Katie, she liked it, but she wasn't enamored by it, and she loves musicals. And I absolutely loved it.
I'm going to give it a look.
And it still has the Beat It video vibe. So
amazing. Okay, I'm into
great.
that. As long as the floor lights up when someone's walking around. To keep it on the musicals tip, since this is Dodge This, a musical podcast.
Beat is not the floor lighting up, is it? That's
is that not? Is that Billie Jean?
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
Hi, you're listening to the Michael Jackson Action Podcast.
But I've got to bring it back to Dodge This, the musical podcast, because I went to see Book of Mormon in real life at the Carré.
Brilliant, isn't it?
This day. Big fan of it, yeah. It's actually the second time I've seen it. I was like, we've had 2 years of not being allowed to see anything. It's come back. I'm going again. A lot of fun. Forgot how offensive it is.
Is there an action musical? Like a film?
Dude, I think this might be... We might have to have this chat off air so that we can write it and no one steals the idea.
I mean, anyway.
I actually did go to see something at the theatre here last year called Knockout. And I gave it a heavy pitch to Ryan Taylor at the Pleasance as something that would be amazing in Edinburgh. So fingers crossed, maybe that's happened. It's basically like a live action movie on stage. It was incredible. Like fight scenes, people flipping about. There's no dialogue. It's all soundtracked. It's great. Okay, we've got to get
we've
into
got to
the
crack on,
bloody
haven't we?
the bloody bits of the show.
Let's crack on.
Let's look ahead to some trailers.
Yeah. Trailers. I'm doing the
Thank
things
you.
now.
I didn't even, because we can see each other quite nicely now. Oh, we forgot to mention that we're trying recording this on a new platform. It's Riverside FM. Hopefully you hear this and it's all recorded nicely.
Also, I've turned my mic around.
Oh, God. Some of you might have noticed that the sound quality last episode was subpar from 50% of the podcast, pointing no fingers.
Yeah.
Turns out directional mic, he's got it pointed the wrong way around. Skip over that.
Change my setup, but there's no... Oh, there is a thing to say that it's the front.
Mate, you're not going to help your case at all, are you?
No. But I want to be honest about these things because I'm a human and I'm flawed.
Full transparency. I think that's what this podcast got to be about. First trailer, The Terminal List.
Oh,
What are you saying? Have you read? It's based on a book. Have you read this book series?
as soon as a book on the back says Navy SEAL, I'm not reading
You're
that
out.
book. If it said a Navy SEAL goes to space, I might be in.
Then you're in.
Yeah.
Back in.
But no, I haven't read this book, but I do like the look of this trailer. I generally, we've said this before, I think, definitely off air, certainly maybe on air, about Chris Pratt being a good person for the action mantle. And I think this is he's definitely going into his sort of mid-action career. He's done all the stuff that's given him the creds, and now he's doing stuff like, you know.
Yeah, I think he's cut out for action. And when we had this chat, I was like, oh, I'm ready to see him in a modern day action film. And then you were like, what about Guardians of the Galaxy and the Jurassic franchise? But as you know, science fiction does not count.
Actually, the Jurassic World is just pure science. They've done that.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
They've done that. Yeah.
But I have not read any of these books, but apparently there's 5 of them, so they must be successful. I feel like Amazon is kind of plowing this furrow of how would you describe this kind of action? Like the Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan. It's Jack-based action. Jacktion.
It's the sort of film I think its father would be films like The Fugitive. I don't know why. It just feels like that sort of action. Which
yeah,
is
because it's like Tom Clancy,
yeah,
is Jack Ryan.
Oh, is it?
And then Harrison Ford played Jack Ryan in all those movies.
Is that right? Is it? Is that
That's
right?
how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do feel like it's sort of like it's that sort of vibe with modern technology. And I think who doesn't love like a good, because they are like in some ways they sort of cross over into the thriller genre. So it's just, you know, it's going to be sort of fast paced, designed to keep you in and just sort of, on the edge of hopefully on the edge of your seat from sort of start to finish.
Yeah, it's not even a trailer, actually, is it? It's a first
teaser.
Look. So really, we don't know anything about it. We just know that Chris Pratt is being hard in it and shooting people and holding an axe to someone's throat, which,
I think the terminal list is he's got to get between 4 terminals at an airport because the flight
He's got to make his flight.
Yeah, that's what I reckon.
And he's livid.
Yeah, which was Die Hard 2, essentially.
That's
true,
Die Hard 2. So that's really it. I don't even know what happens in it. But the downside of this story is last week I cancelled my Amazon Prime and subscribed to HBO Max.
Okay, so what's the downside for me?
Well, the downside is that I don't have Amazon Prime currently. So
you can just,
when this comes
have
on,
you have to rent it.
Switch it back on.
Or get a free trial.
I'm just trying to make some drama out of it.
This podcast is brought to you by free trials.
HBO Max, €3.99 for life in the Netherlands right now. They are going in hard with that. Next trailer! It's Memory.
What is it?
The Memory.
I was doing a
Going to ignore the dad joke there from Hunting.
Little joke about Memory, Simon.
Memory, directed by Martin Campbell, starring Liam Neeson and Neighbours Guy Pearce.
Which I think is very much a reason Guy Pearce is in this film, because it is clearly a punchy remake of Memento. So
right, it's tricky, isn't it? He's gonna have to try pretty hard to dodge the Memento references in this.
He even does the like mem like on the titles. There's no way that this isn't like they wear it on their sleeve. They're like whoever made this, like, I love Memento. I want Guy Pearce in. For some reason, Liam Neeson is now the go-to older action guy, which I still don't know how that happened.
Here's what's tricky, I think, with this is Guy Pearce is good. Martin Campbell is a great action director, right?
Yeah.
He's done Casino Royale. He's done GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Haven't seen The Protégé. Have seen The Foreigner, actually. Jackie Chan, Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah,
film.
I've seen
wasn't
that.
bad. It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't bad, actually, but it wasn't.
Casino Royale is fucking great, though, to be fair, as is GoldenEye. He is a safe pair of hands. And I think the problem is that Liam Neeson has done so many movies that look, or at least are marketed a bit like this, that it's actually could work to its detriment. Because this could be, if I was not aware of all the Liam Neeson movies of the last 5 years, and I watched this trailer, I'd be like, oh, that looks pretty good. I'd probably see that. But now that we know post-Taken, most of these sort of aging hardman movies aren't great. This is a tough sell, I think. In spite of the talent involved.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like the talent's incredible. Like, say, Guy Pearce, Liam Neeson, Monica Bellucci. Like, that is like top end sort of actors. And it does. It just Taken is so like in the sort of cultural zeitgeist now that it's so parodied and so referenced that every time you see Liam Neeson doing that sort of tone, you feel like he's in a sketch, like lampooning his own thing. So I think it does suffer. Like, if you'd had someone else in there, I don't know, I'm trying to think of who'd be a good sort of around that sort of level. Because that's the weird thing with action now. They've gone for that sort of like, they've gone back to that. This could be any guy having a bad day, or like they've gone away from all the sort of just super muscles of the 90s and all the grease me up and gloss me up, and they're going back to that sort of gritty realism. But I like the look of it. Like, I love Memento, and I love the concept of this, because what it hinges on is the payoff at the end. There's going to be something he's trying to remember.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems to be he's losing his memory, or he has some kind of memory situation. It's not fully laid out in the trailer, thankfully, but like, so it does make sense that he's 70 years old or whatever for this movie. But you're right. Yeah, the payoff will be what makes it good or not.
Yeah.
I'm going in with medium expectations. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
When is that out? That's out April 29th. Actually, I haven't written this down in the notes, but Michael Bay's Ambulance comes out this week in the Netherlands.
Oh, does it? I've not seen anything about it in the UK.
I know, right? But I think somehow it's out this week.
Everything's just overshadowed by the Batman still. Like, the whole...
Sure.
Yeah.
He's got a big cape.
He has.
We got one last trailer. And this one plays directly to your little nerd house.
My little nerd house is a big nerd museum now.
But I will say, when the music kicked up at the beginning of this, I did get a little bit excited. It's, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Brackets, definitely not an action film or series.
Or series. To be fair, though, like, I'll probably give you that. This will be balls to the wall sci-fi. It won't be. There's going to be so much.
There's going to be a lot of.
I'm really excited about this for a lot of reasons.
What is this about?
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, Simon, we don't have the time.
Okay, bear in mind we don't have the whole hour.
We don't have the time.
I'll give you 1 minute.
So a lot of this has already been documented in the Clone Wars series, where Obi-Wan Kenobi is on Tatooine, keeping a distant eye on the child Luke Skywalker, who's been hidden there from Darth Vader. Now, in the Clone Wars stuff, there's whole sort of sidelines which have been scrapped for this with Darth Maul and stuff, which I'm gutted about. But basically, it's going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi hiding as a Jedi in the sort of new empire, which has risen from the post-Senate era after the Emperor takes over. And he
skip to the end,
trying to hide Luke Skywalker from Darth Vader whilst getting sucked back into intergalactic drama and his need to do good as a Jedi.
Okay, so this is like before Clones.
Yeah, so no, it's after Clones. So it's between episode 3 and 4. So it's post Clone Wars, pre Rebellion.
Okay, interesting. I probably will watch it. It looks.
I mean, that's what I know. I don't know much about Star Wars.
It's fairly tentpole, right? They've got McGregor back to be Obi-Wan,
which is
you know.
great because McGregor was great as Obi-Wan, but obviously the prequel trilogy not great. So it'd be nice to see him have a good run at, being the Obi-Wan that he deserves to be, because he is great in the role.
And he's a little bit older now, so less sort of, squeaky clean. He can grow a solid beard.
Is he? I think he might be the same age as Alec Guinness was.
That's mental.
I think. I can't
because in my
if
head, Alec Guinness is 100.
Yeah,
like
109.
30. Yeah.
I'm gonna live Google that.
Okay, a bit of live Googling.
And do you know what? I'm not, because I've got to Google 3 things then. Do you know what? If you want to Google it, Google it.
Let us know. You can tweet us. Yeah, all right. 3. That's actually a pretty good run of trailers there. I will probably have a look at all 3 of those. And now we've watched the trailers, Matthew. We've got a popcorn in hand. I've got a bag of those new M&Ms where they put peanut, chocolate, and crispy in the same bag, which is frankly an absolute game changer.
Mm.
And I'm heading in to screen 1 for...
And now, our feature presentation.
Dodge this.
That was the jingle.
It's lovely.
Next time, if we use this platform again, I'm going to load the jingle in and I can literally play it to you as we're recording. It's our feature presentation. It is called XTREMO, or Extreme with an X at the beginning and no E at the beginning. It is a Spanish action movie directed by Daniel Benmayor, currently streaming on Netflix. It came out in 2021. And this excites me for numerous reasons. I think this is the perfect movie for this podcast. As I briefly said at the top, when we started this podcast, it was my plan, hope, and dream to sort of surface movies that maybe not everyone would ordinarily see, that weren't necessarily American or British or whatever, from different parts of the world, made by people clearly passionate about action and about filmmaking. And I think this one just ticks all the boxes. It comes out of Spain, a country which makes lots of movies, but is not famed for action stuff. There's definitely loads of Spanish comedies, romance, even horror. They do a lot of that. What they don't do is a lot of very genre sort of unforgiving, this is a bloody action movie, mate, and we're going to deliver some action. And that is what they have done with Extreme. It seems to sort of be the, I want to say, brainchild of the star of the show, a guy called Teo García. I think I nearly did the th on the end there. I don't do a lot of Spanish. Thank you. Because he made a short by the same name as this in 2006. And that is a testament, I suppose, to the amount of work and the quite distressing amount of time it takes to get a movie made. But he came up with this idea, co-wrote it with a couple of other people. He's the star of it. He's choreographed it. He sings the theme tune. He drew the poster. Some of that might not be true. But it is, it's very much a showcase for his skills. According to Wikipedia or some sort of internet website, he is an actor, martial artist, choreographer, writer, producer. At 17, he was named the youngest ninja master in the world.
Whoa.
I need a citation on that, but I'm happy to hear that.
That is
He's a master of Muay Thai, close combat, Kobudo, and Kenpo. He also is a former soldier of the Green Beret, so he's actually double hard.
This has blown my mind.
I mean, that is a lot of intro, isn't it?
That is a CV.
Yeah, that is a lot of intro. And in fairness to the kid, he was born in 1971, so he is 50. He's 50 now. So he's he could be in the Neeson bracket almost.
Well, this is what I was going to say when you said this is based on a short he made in 2006. I was going to say in 2006, I don't think this film could have been this film because of there's obviously the classic action trope of a father figure, Like this film.
Sum it up for us, Matt. You could do the plot summary.
We're gonna have to clear the plot, before we can get into this because it moves at a speed. This film, it is incredible. Like, first of all, Simon, I think you said everything we need to about this film because it's perfect for this podcast. I went into there with no expectations, didn't know anything about it. I bloody love this film.
Yay!
Did not want to switch this film off. I absolutely it hit that real sweet spot for me in action.
After I watched it, I was like, I did like it. It's flawed in a lot of ways. It's in no means perfect, but I was like, I think Matthew is going to really like this one.
It's the perfect amount of. It's not going to annoy me. It doesn't do anything too dumb, but also I'm not going to have to look over the other side of the room and look back and go, I have no idea what's happening now. I'm going to keep with the plot. Like, it is the perfect sort of midweek, you're tired, you just want something to energize your film. But the plot...
Plot me up.
Me up. So Max is an assassin, according to the bio, but basically he's a hitman, but he is a sort of adopted son of a prominent crime lord in Spain, and he is a sort of surrogate brother to the actual crime lord's son. And there's also a surrogate sister, which is not his real sister, which is important for the sexual tension. And basically, it moves fast. So it goes in, and it's quite an amazing opening action scene. Very graphic, very slick. And it's the brothers clearing out this sort of drug den / rival crime boss's operation. And the son of the crime lord, whose name is is it Lucero? Is that the one?
Yes, I think that's his name. Yes.
Yeah, he basically has gone against his father's wishes, and he's, for our eyes, cocked this up. But what he's actually doing is a hostile takeover, and within the first sort of 5-10 minutes, you've got an incredible action scene. He double crosses his father, takes over the business, and then not only that, kills Max's family. And it is incredible.
As well as about 700 other people that are hanging around the drug den.
Yeah. Now, what is interesting about this, and I didn't realise that they directly reference this in the middle of the film, it is essentially a retelling of Gladiator. And when I realised that...
Whoa!
When I realised that, because they say, there's a scene where...
He's even called Max!
That's the thing. They have a whole thing about it. But it's exactly that. It's, Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, they kill it. He's got a kid, right? And they kill his kid.
Marcus Aurelius is disappointed in his child. He loves his sort of adopted son, and who is sort of got a thing going on with his sister, Thingy's sister, Joaquin Phoenix's sister. And so he kills his family to ensure that Max can't take over the business. And that is essentially what it is. It's a modern day Gladiator. And yeah, as soon as I sort of realised that, it blew my mind. But on the other side of this, there's a kid that gets involved in this called Leo, who, you talked about Spanish horror films. Do you know The Link?
No, is he in a classic?
He is the kid in the orphanage.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, which is now...
Have not seen that movie, but
great
fair play.
Film. But yeah, so he basically... His family's killed. He goes underground to try and take down what is the Conclave, which is all these crime bosses and operations coming together under one umbrella. Say what you will about crime, they at least know how to do mergers. They love a merger.
They're great at mergers and acquisitions, yeah.
So
this kid also gets entangled in it as well as a sort of surrogate son, I suppose, right?
Yeah, and he makes Max care again. But I mean, you can tell by how excited I am in my voice. It's a very simple plot done well. There's no, to a lot of the action films we watch, they'll just crowbar in a sequence for no reason. But what I like about this is the plot does always move forward. So even when Max sort of gets involved with Leo and this kid, and he does it, it all ties back into the forward momentum of the film. And what I love about this film, and I love about a lot of action films, it's not afraid to just look cool for cool's sake. I think this is a very post John Wick thing. If you want to light a place. If you want to set an action scene somewhere, great. There's an action scene.
If you want to set an action scene in an empty club where the smoke machine is on for some reason, so that no one can see anyone.
Not for some reason, he turns it on to cover himself, because anyone he runs into, he can kill.
Shoot him directly point blank in the face.
Yeah.
And just on that note, there is, we talk about action movies from sort of the Batman level through to DTV level. And I think, this is like an indie brackets DTV action movie. Couldn't find what the budget was or like how it got financed. It's currently on Netflix, but like it does look good. It's well made.
Slick.
It's well shot. It's nice to see. It's set in Barcelona, which like I've never seen an action movie set in Barcelona, but there's like a lot of nice filmmaking techniques in there. There's a lot of sort of practical effects and just like things that up the production value that you don't often see in DTV action movies. I'm gonna refer to it as a DTV action movie. I don't know if it got like a cinematic release in its homeland, but it has gone DT Netflix elsewhere.
But yeah, I mean, exactly that. Like you can feel like we talk about this a lot. Like these sort of levels of films, they're made because someone or some people are driving behind it because they're passionate about the project. So they've thought about every little thing. Like the opening sequence in Max's house, there's so much information that a lot of lesser action films would just talk out instead of showing. Like there's a bit where a very cool action scene early on, so it's not a spoiler. Max gets pushed into he's got a framed drawing that his kid's done, and it smashes, and then he uses the nail it's hung on to kick ass. Like there's some really, like, pulls a nail out of the wall and kills people with it. But again, like, to go into sort of character, like, without him talking about how much he loves his son, because he does that very much, he does recede inside himself, and it is his drive or his revenge for most of the film. But they do set a picture of, like, he does have this quite loving, balanced life at home. And it's only brief, but they've thought about everything that's placed. Like, they built a life in that flat. And then they have literally, for the symbolism of the film, destroyed it bit by bit. Like, he literally has to fight to keep his life, but ultimately he's not strong enough. And it's, like, really good filmmaking. It's, like, show, not tell. And I bloody love that with this film. It does it a lot. Like, really little details. Like, they give you something for a character. Like, this is a bit of a spoiler, but it's not a plot spoiler. So Leo, one of the reasons they bond is he decides to teach Max guitar. Like, that's one of the things they bond. Like, even though he doesn't, he says he can do it. And then they take Leo's hand up, like, essentially away. They slam it in a car door. And it's like, it's that perfect little detail. He is
angry about that.
But that's the thing, like, it's that perfect thing. Sort of like, Max is this jaded guy who's lost everything, who's only known death. That sort of like guy thing. And then it's like taking away, even though this kid is on the wrong side of the tracks, it's taking away the one thing that is his innocence. And I love that sort of level of symbolic filmmaking. And you don't expect it in an action film, but it's
true.
there.
Those are the things I think that I don't pick up on so well. But you are right to observe those things. And those are the little details that I suppose like do embody the character with like a little bit more than he is John Matrix and he's got to get his daughter back. But conversely, he is a little bit like John Matrix and he's got to get his daughter back. Like one thing that this movie does, and it is an unapologetic action film and it delivers a shit ton of action from beginning to end. And some of the action is really great and a lot of fun. And some of it really did put me in mind of 1980s Arnie movies, like even the big sort of gunfight at the beginning that sets the whole scene for everything, which like kind of goes from some shots that just look really cool, like loads of practical effects, things, destruction, things exploding, sweeping camera moves. You're just like, oh, this is amazing. It's like John Woo, and then it's just basically two guys walking in a straight line, shooting loads of people who just walk into their sort of line of fire. Like it's with one hand, it giveth the sort of like movie making prowess and like we have the budget and ability to make this. And then at the same time, it taketh away by not really putting a great deal of imagination into the sort of choreography or like tactical nature of this enormous gunfight. Like I was just sort of watching it just like, oh, I mean, if he just like dived across the table with his two guns or something, but he's just literally like just walking in a straight line, just going,
oh yeah. Also,
as people run into his stream of bullets and die.
It's a very done action trope that really irritates me. We had this in War a lot, which was putting something in front of bullets doesn't stop bullets. Like a table or a body, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a bullet.
And both of this movie and War had using a human man as a shield, not for one bullet, for like 10 bullets.
They also use a human man for a shield.
A human man.
But two people use the human man for the shield. And so they're both sticking out the side, but it's like everyone goes, shoot the body, shoot the body. it's incredible. There is a bit, though, there's a sequence in it that I think ties into both exactly what you're saying, the best of this and the worst of this in the best way. So there's that sequence in the garage. That is one of my favourite action scenes I've seen in years. Like,
it's a lot of fun.
Just going, we know he's got guns. We know he's got knives. We know he's tooled up to the nines, mate. And yet they go, we're going to have this big showdown in a garage, and he is not going to use one of those things. He comes out like a mechanic Wolverine. He's got 3 screwdrivers in his hand at one point. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy is going to go Berserker Barrage Wolverine on someone. No. Just eyes.
Throws them out.
There's a bit, again, something that we talk about in these films a lot. The stuff that happens where if I did that in my real life, I would not stop talking about it forever. There's a bit where he literally punches a bonnet and it turns the lights on the car. And I'm not a mechanic. True. I'm not a mechanic, but I don't think that's possible.
I loved that moment. And I think it's sort of wonderfully cheesy in that regard, but it's not. I mean, they must know. They know the movie they're making, but it doesn't do it knowingly. Like, it is so deadly serious for the whole way, to the point where there's a couple of times where the bad guy, it sort of does that almost like Wicked little, like I'm too evil, where you're like, oh, maybe they're not taking it that seriously. But then also, there's like, like 2 kids die in this film, and there's some like really brutal violence that are, even me as a connoisseur of action films, is like, that I feel like you could have illustrated that without it being quite so.
I was the opposite. I bloody love this. I was like,
you were like, gore, please, more gore.
I love the camera got blood on it. I love a VFX.
I mean, those are the nice touches, I suppose, when you're like, I guess they do know what they're doing. When occasionally there's a bit of like CG blood splatters on the camera, like, you can't be mad at that. And speaking of the screwdrivers, and you mentioned the picture hook earlier, I think it's worth noting that, and it does put me in mind of those old action films, and I suppose in the modern, post-Bourne John Wick era of very imaginative things as weapons. You mentioned the picture hook. There's also the screwdrivers. There's a nail gun. There's also, I mean, and I don't think I've ever seen this, a car seat headrest is used to murder 2 people, which you got to hand it to the imagination of that.
Weirdly, I think I have seen that in another film, but I can't bring to mind what it is. Because of the spikes in it.
It's great. And I think and I think that if I were to sum up this film, it is that with one hand it giveth and the other hand it doesn't quite giveth enough. Like, it's got some really nice imaginative bits, like him using all these different weapons and stuff. But when you're like, oh, he's got screwdrivers, and then like a guy runs in and he throws a screwdriver at him and it kills him, you're like, well, that's a great idea. And then 2 more guys run in, one at a time, and he just throws the screwdriver at them and kills them. You're like, I don't know. I mean, I know the movie we're watching and I know the world that we live in, but like, we've also seen how imaginative scenes can be. It made me think of the bit at the beginning of John Wick 3 where they're in that antique shop and they're all like grabbing the knives and throwing the knives. And that, I watched that in the cinema, and like, I don't make noise in the cinema because I'm a respectful British man, but I was just like laughing and loving that scene so much. And when he just throws a screwdriver, you're like, nice. And then one at a time, 2 more guys come in unarmed into his workshop so he can do the exact same. I've thrown a screwdriver at you like a shuriken star. I don't know. There's just this little bit like where you're like, oh, so much potential.
I think you've nailed it though. The one thing that like I felt it missed and I think you've absolutely nailed it, is it doesn't have that wink in the eye or that little bit of cheeky humor, which the best action films do. Again, like we were talking about Aliens earlier. I saw a thread on Twitter just this morning about how the best action films know how to use a little bit of humor, because it sort of like humanizes the extreme in terms of like the how ludicrous, being in a situation like that is. Die Hard as well.
Of course, yeah, to diffuse the tension a little bit.
Die Hard is the same sort of thing. It's a very poker face serious film, but then they have like Chris Hewitt from Empire, I think it was, tweeted about how they have the little lines about from the FBI and all that stuff. They have these really dry lines that come in, and maybe that's something lost in translation, because I don't know about you, but I lost it in the dub. So I watched it in dubbing.
You watched it dubbed?
Yeah, I was so tired I couldn't.
Oh, Matthew!
I know. I was so tired I couldn't focus my eyes. So I watched the dub.
I literally, in my notes on this, I wrote, out of curiosity, I watched a bit of the dubbed version, and I continue to be dumbfounded as to why anyone would willingly watch it unless they have to.
But this is yeah. I was just like, I've had a busy week.
Oh my god!
Couldn't get my eyes on it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess you've answered my question. Like, who watches the dubbed version of anything?
Do you know what though?
Unless you're like impaired in some way, and I understand that, but like, why? This makes me so mad.
Now, normally it's
I'm livid.
Normally it's a sin. It's not a cardinal sin for me. But do you know what? I got really like just zoned it out in seconds, and it made it a lot more fun in places. Like the villain is so the dubbed voice for him. Oh my god! It's like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah,
it's great. I think this is why I enjoyed it more.
The bit that I watched, I was like, "Oh, this is so ridiculous," and also the dubbing is like it's not the same script as there's subtitles when you watch it in Spanish, and then the subtitles when you watch it dubbed, which makes sense, are the same as the dubbing. So there's just some lines that are completely different. It's so, oh man, I hope you win the action trivia at the end, because you are on thin ice with this podcast right now. Oh boy. What if you watch this movie? God, it was like when I told my parents to watch that German show Dark on Netflix, and then when they were halfway through, they told me they were watching it dubbed, and I just had to sit down and be like, it's not, you probably shouldn't die on this hill, but
hey, mate, do you know what? Stop being an elitist. Some people struggle with the subtitles, and if a dubbed version means more people watch a film, because they're
if you
tired,
struggle, fine,
or something like that, how about you just get off your horse and just enjoy it? The dub version was really fun. Do you know the thing is though? I have a really soft spot for dubbing, because I associate it with action films, because when I was growing up...
I mean, of course, it harks me back to the 80s of like the original ways I watched Jackie Chan films.
Exactly.
Stuff. But like,
Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee.
As soon as you just get to, your late teens and you discover subtitles and artsy indie movies, and you feel very special because you're like, no, I watched the widescreen subtitled version, not the pan and scan dub.
I like to get a beer and a big slab of meat and just a normal guy.
I don't want to have to read when I go to the cinema.
Normal guy. Normally I will watch subtitle versions, but do you know what? This sort of action film lends itself. I'm going to encourage listeners to watch the dub version. Actually, because it makes it a lot of fun.
Fine. If you're approaching it from that way, it will diffuse the it takes itself too seriously-ness of the movie, because everyone's like, instead of sounding like a Spanish guy, I sound like this guy. Personally, cannot recommend it less.
Cannot recommend it more.
But I do think to that point, like, yes, it arguably takes itself a little bit too seriously.
There's only one bit that properly pulled me out of this film, and I've been thinking about it all morning. Like I'd like to say, I absolutely love this. A lot of fun.
Give me a clue.
Whoever the English cast star, very good job actually. What they did with the voiceover. It involves a lift
involves a lift
or an elevator.
Oh, sorry, yeah, an elevator. I don't remember there being a lift in this movie.
Yes, there is. The villain goes back
There
to
must
his. The villain goes back to his base or his nightclub or whatever it is, via a parking garage. So he gets into the lift and he gets a phone call. And what network is he on?
Oh,
he's already underground in a garage. He then gets in a lift, and then the lift goes down, not up, and he has a perfectly fine reception.
I see. That's why I didn't remember it, because I didn't flag that as being a fail. A fail.
That was the point. With about 20 minutes to go, I was like, well, this film is ridiculous, Age.
That's it. Sorry, I'm done. Sorry, I'm absolutely done. Yeah, fair play, actually. As if the dubbing hadn't already taken you out of it. I was entrenched in Spanish at that point, so I was like, in some countries you get mobile signal on the underground, so I don't know what they're doing in Barcelona. I can't speak to it.
Whoever's doing the network, please get out to the
That's
the world.
5G, mate. Yeah.
There was one thing that not annoyed me, but I wish there's more of. So Andrea Duro, who plays Maria, she is great at action. I don't think she got enough action scenes.
No, that's true. And they do. They have like a little sparring session,
to show that
like
she's
her and the main dude. Yeah. And then at the end, she gets to have a bit of a fight, and this is maybe something that is most reflected in the final fight with the chief bad guy.
And don't forget Finito, the man that bullets move around.
That's
you
true.
mentioned
Finito. Well, we got to mention
missing.
Finito, and we got to mention the Japanese dude, because they both have pivotal roles in this. But while it's on my mind,
Alberto Julie, is it?
Yes, the fights are filmed in what I would call a little bit of a Hollywood fashion, and like especially the end fight where it's not a spoiler, it's like a 2-on-1.
It did the thing that we didn't like. Did the thing we didn't like with
did the thing we didn't like. There's a lot of fights that are sort of filmed in coverage rather than like prevised, and the fight is shot the best way the fight could be shot to illustrate the moves in a kinetic way. There's a lot of kind of like, it's shot in a wide or a mid and it just cuts in and out between like two cameras. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it makes things look a little bit sloppy and slow.
I liked the way that they shot the bulk of the action, and then at the end they did the sort of the crane rig to follow the things, and it just suddenly felt like that. It's horrible to say, but when they do the crane shots at the end, it was the only time I felt the film looked a little bit cheaper than it looked all the way through.
Interesting.
So I thought the way they used their camera was a really good way to sort of, you say coverage, but it's a really good way to sort of, again, it's emotional storytelling. So like the final fight, when they finally get control of it, they start cutting to wides.
Yeah.
And it makes the villain very small and overpowered. I think it's really good visual storytelling. So I'm on the other side of that. Like,
interesting. Well, I'm happy to agree to disagree on that, because I wanted to see, you want to see like the kineticism of that fight where they're like, ganging up on him, but it just kind of looks, you're like a distant observer and you don't feel the full force of it, I think. Interesting though that you bring up if you remember 2 episodes ago when we talked about Fistful of Vengeance, which I can now say I'm not mad about anymore. However, this has reminded me of it, so this could be a problem. But in that movie, they use a robot camera, which should be amazing, but they managed to it not be amazing. But they use this same robot camera at the end of this in a sword fight, and I think it actually works quite well.
That's what I mean, the crane shot.
Yeah.
See, I went the other way with that.
In Fistful of Vengeance, it made them look slow, whereas in a sword fight, they're kind of doing like several moves and then they kind of taking a little breather, and it kind of works, I think, for that. And it's only a couple of these big sweeping, shots where the robot cam like zooms right in and then whizzes around. Do
you know what I realised though, what it is? Why I don't like those shots in action films. I realised this watching this film, and it looks, it's a slick move. It's a very like high production move. But because you're talking about kineticism in a fight, it's because it stops where it should have had even a digital shake when there's an impact, something to suggest.
It's too neat for you.
Because you know when I said earlier they have blood splatters on the camera and you feel like the camera is an active thing in this world.
Yeah.
When you have it on a slick rig and there's sort of no impact from what is clearly quite a lot of turmoil going around it, you suddenly go, oh, well, that's on something. That's too smooth. I think it jars your brain. Whereas
it makes you think about the filmmaking.
If they swept in and like, which they do, and on the hit it lands, a little shake would make that
interesting. Yeah,
and it's good. Like I say, I'm not bagging it because I think this of all the action films we watched, this is one that I think cinematography wise is one of my favorites. I think it's beautiful. I think, like I say, post John Wick, the club scenes, the light they use, and all the ways that they shoot, I think is beautiful. But yeah, it's interesting that we're the opposite on these things.
I know, yeah, and I think it's the action purist in me, like, and I do get, there's the sort of film fan in me that likes that, but there's also the, like, when I see action, I don't want to say I want it to see it shot in a certain way, but I think I want it shot in the way that best brings to the fore the skills of the people in it. And I think clearly the lead guy Teo like is super trained and he can amazing. Move, and sometimes and he comes across as hard as nails in this, but he doesn't necessarily come across as like the most skilled technical martial artist. And I think that could have been lent into when they shot it.
See, I again went the other way. I thought they did that thing, I think we talked about this in the past, where it's a very modern way of doing action. Clearly got MMA skills and that sort of style of fighting. And it's more about, the environment of the fight he will adapt to. And I really liked, even though he's sort of like, sometimes he's like Michael Myers with martial arts skills. Like he just keeps coming.
He just murders a lot of people in this movie. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I quite liked the way that they did it, which is again interesting. I thought it lent itself to his character, because I think if he was like, in a sort of Raging Fire style film or something like that, and they did that sort of action martial arts, I think it would have felt very out of place in this world. Which was because I thought like there's a samurai fight at the end, and that felt suddenly like okay.
I guess like his rival nemesis brother like had been to Japan and trained or like learned from the Yakuza, so it was like, okay, I'll allow it. And also like,
tell me about your gap year in Japan. Well,
look, any movie that ends with two guys having a fucking sword fight, like, I'm on board for. There's a bit earlier in the movie where and we got to wrap this up soon, but I want to talk about the Japanese dude, because the danger sometimes in movies like this is there's like one guy, and this happened a little bit in Sanak, where there's two sort of Asian guys. I want to say they're Chinese guys. I think they're German because they're part of the stunt team, but they're like of Chinese origin, and they're so like wiry, fast, flexible. They're such incredible fighters that they kind of make Vidiot look slow. And there's a guy in this who is Spanish Japanese, and like he has a brief fight with Teo, and the dude is like, his kicks are like going over his head. He's just so fast, and you kind of go, damn, maybe Teo should have had a sidekick who was like as good as martial arts as this guy, because then those guys could have gone at it and it would have been incredible. Whereas as it is, it's like the Japanese guy is like, I am much better at fighting than you, and you're probably just going to have to kill me in a disappointing way. And that sort of happens.
Again, that's what I liked, because he's a brawler. He adapts. Like, I thought it was, because I think that's better for character than it is. I would rather see the plot and the character come out than the action sometimes, which is where we differ massively.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But also, and this brings it really nicely, Alberto Jolie's is my action replay as well.
Is he?
Yeah, he does my favourite kick.
Wait, I haven't pressed the jingle, Matthew.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
All right, here we go. It's Matthew's action replay moment.
So he does, this kick is done a lot in martial arts films. It's done a lot in action films. It's my favourite thing, because as someone who struggles to stand on one leg alone, my balance isn't great. But he does the kick where comes sweeping round, hits one side of the face, and then stops and instantly comes back. And both kicks look as powerful as the other. And I just love that kick.
That guy can move. I wanted to see more of him.
Yeah. Me too.
My action replay, I would say, is there is a fight in a bathroom, a public bathroom, not fairly early on, but it's sort of as it's getting going, like a little revenge fight. He goes to find this guy, and then a bunch of other dudes come in, and it has a little Jackie Chan vibe where he sort of he's holding the guy the whole time in the fight, and then people attack. And they end up hitting the guy, and then he uses the guy's limbs to. That was like a nicely imaginative bit of choreography. I liked that in particular.
Beautiful sequence.
Yeah, I think we're both singing from the same hymn sheet here. Like, I can nitpick it to pieces, but as a piece of entertainment, I want to say 90 minutes, but it was a little bit overlong. If you like action movies, there's something for everyone.
Yes,
There's a picture hooks, there's a nail gun, there's martial arts, there's a sword fight, there's a guy getting hit by a car, there's a guy escaping on a micro scooter. Don't see that enough anymore in movies.
It's a retelling of Gladiator. It's great.
It's really enjoyable. It's an indie movie. It's out of Spain, a place where you don't see a lot of action movies. It's loads of people just doing some really solid work, and I'm excited, as we often say, to see what everybody does next.
Yeah, same. 100%. You've nailed that. My only thing would be if you're sort of midweek, you want something to energize you. You don't want to think.
You say watch the fucking dub, mate. I'm gonna.
I was gonna say
fade you out in the middle.
Turn on the dub and just sit back, relax.
If you are a listener to this podcast and you regularly watch things dubbed, we have to have a chat. If you do watch things dubbed, please tweet us and explain your reasoning why, and I will decide if it's acceptable or not. Matthew, we are almost out of time, but we have to squeeze in the action movie trivia because after the dubbing fiasco, I'm not sure whether you're coming back next episode. So let's see if you retain your place on the podcast. Here's the question. In which movie does Arnold Schwarzenegger play the computer salesman Henry Tasker?
Computer salesman? That's gotta be...
Oh, I've got a good feeling about this. Come on, mate.
Oh, God. Oh, I nearly said the wrong one. Very nearly said the wrong one.
I'd love you to get it without the options.
I know it. Oh, give me...
Imagine him in a shirt and tie. Picture him in a shirt and tie.
No, I'm nearly there.
Maybe he's not being honest about which his job.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is the one that I thought it was. Because it is True Lies. Because
it's True Lies.
He's not
True Lies.
So I knew it straight away, but then I was like, but he's a spy. He's a spy. But that's not his real job. So that's why I got thrown, because I was like, oh God, is it a different one? Because I know he's actually a spy in that one, but it is True Lies. It is True Lies.
And like a beautiful bookend, we've both started and ended the podcast with James Cameron movies.
Oh, nice.
How do you feel about that?
I'm very happy with that.
From Aliens to True Lies, two absolute classics.
I'm actually going to dub Aliens this week.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm terminating the podcast. I'm terminating it. What are you gonna dub it
Game
into?
over, man. Game over.
I think one of your Twitter videos could be you just dubbing films that are already in English.
I've already planned some of those.
Meanwhile, if people want to see all of the insane amount of content that you crank out, they can get you on Twitter,
Instagram.
Matthew Heighton or Matt Heighton?
Matt Heighton. Matt Heighton. Okay. It's Matt shorter. Heighton. It's easier to at. And you are?
I'm at Simon Fielder on everything.
But make sure you put the E before the I.
Otherwise, you'll cry or die, because it's an action movie podcast.
Yeah, commit to it.
All right, that's it. That's another one. I hope you couldn't hear that I've got a cold during this, because I felt quite nasal. So I think I'll do the big reveal at the end. The whole reason why I've been talking like this, I've got a stuffed up nose, mate. Been drinking a Lemsip, not sponsored, throughout. I think this will be the part where we're fading out.
When I have a cold, I like to use a delicious Lemsip.
When I have a cold, I always turn to Squarespace. Squarespace provides my cold medications for whatever I need.
Whether I'm kicking ass or causing explosions, Squarespace has always been there for me and my colds.